In today's video, we're going to talk about the public charge RFE that you may have received for not answering the public charge questions correctly on your form I-485. Hi guys, my name is Ksenia. I make videos for people who are going through the family immigration process. I'm not an attorney. My videos are based on publicly available information, my own experience, and the experience of my subscribers. And the purpose of my channel is to give you guys the confidence to go through this process completely on your own. The new public charge questions were included in the form I-485 since about December 2022. And still, a lot of applicants have a lot of confusion about how to answer the public charge questions in their form. Just for the record, any family-based, employment-based, and diversity visa green card applicants are subjected to the public charge rule. It doesn't mean that you are going to become public charge. It simply means that you are subjected to this rule. Either way, you're watching this video because you received this RFE. So we're going to look at a sample RFE on my screen, and I will guide you through this RFE step by step to help you answer the questions and to help you understand how to respond to this RFE. In the very beginning of this letter, they will simply provide you with a lot of legal language about how you are supposed to answer this question because you are subjected to public charge based on your category. You need to answer those questions from that form that refer to the public charge section. Now, you can go about this in a couple of different ways. USCIS does give you an opportunity to answer those questions directly in the RFE letter. As you can see, if you turn to the second page of your RFE, you will see those questions listed in here, where you will be asked to answer them in the letter directly, and they do tell you to write your initials and date next to each answer in the RFE. Another thing you can do is you can fill out a whole brand new I-485 form and provide that with your RFE response and answer those questions correctly directly in the new form. Both options are totally okay. If the form edition date has not changed, then you can just go ahead and answer those questions directly in the RFE letter. However, if a lot of the information in your form has changed, it is best to simply fill out a whole new I-485 form and attach it with your RFE response. So this RFE that they've been sending out is referring to the older version of the form I-485. So you can see that here they're referencing part 8, questions 61 through 68. In the newer version of I-485, it is part 9, I believe, questions 56 through 66. First question, what is the size of your household? You do want to refer to the form instructions that talk about the size of your household as the applicant for a green card. So this size of the household may not necessarily be the same as the size of the household in the form I-864 from the petitioning sponsor. You only need to count the following people in your household: yourself, your spouse if physically residing with you, your parents if physically residing with you, your unmarried siblings if physically residing with you, and your children if physically residing with you. And by children, they mean unmarried children under the age of 21. So if you have any sons or daughters that are over the age 21 and or who are married, you don't need to count them. So if you are filling out this form as a parent of a U.S. citizen, technically you don't have to count your petitioning child, your petitioning son or daughter, because they're already 21 years of age. But if you count them, that also won't be a mistake. Any other individuals who are listed as dependents on your taxes, or any other individuals who list you as a dependent on taxes. So these are the only people that need to be counted in this public charge section of the form. Next, indicate your annual household income. Here, they're talking about the income of the household of the members that you counted here, as well as any other resources who are not necessarily members of your household. You can still include your petitioner's income in the household income section because they want to see how much income you have available to you. But also, this can be income that is local in the United States or foreign. That can also count. USCIS just wants to see that you have access to income. And by the way, you don't have to provide evidence for any of these questions unless specifically requested by USCIS. Next, identify your household assets. The household assets must only be counted from the people who are members of your household. So people who we counted in the household size above. So in the income section, you can include income that is not necessarily part of your household, but in the household assets, you can only count assets available to the members of your household. So if it's just you alone in the household size, then only count your own assets. And they do give you some samples of assets you can include: bank deposits, stocks, bonds, etc., etc. Real estate also counts. Next, provide the value of household liabilities. So by liabilities, they mean anything that you owe, anything that you still have to pay back, any credit card balances you still have, loans, mortgages. And again, you only need to include liabilities from the members of your household. Next, complete the highest degree or level of school you have completed. And this only talks about the degree that you actually have already completed. If you are unsure, maybe you have a foreign degree, select the one that is most equivalent to one of the ones listed. Next, they ask you to list any certifications, licenses, skills, which basically makes you employable. They will tell you that you can include your any kind of workforce skills, training, licenses for specific occupations, foreign language skills, any certificates you have. You can mention if you have a US driver's license. You can mention all of those things here. The more the better. You can be creative. And the final few questions refer to the public assistance, and you must only answer yes if you have received any of these specific assistance programs. So they're referring to SSI, TNF, and any other cash benefit programs. It does not include SNAP, which means food stamps. It doesn't include WIC. It doesn't include CHIP. It doesn't include any housing, so Section 8, Medicare, etc. That doesn't count. Only answer yes if these are the ones that you have received. Next, have you received long-term institutionalization at government expense? This refers to you being institutionalized in a mental health facility or a facility like an old folks home at a government expense. So if, for example, you went to a rehab at your own expense, you don't have to count it. Now, if you have answered yes to any of these two questions, they do ask you to provide specifics about what kind of benefit you received, the cash amount, and the period when you have been receiving these benefits. And then for the last part, if you were institutionalized, it will ask you where it was and for how long. For the most part, applicants who are applying for a green card, a lot of them are not eligible for these kinds of assistance programs. Once you fill it out, just make sure that you sign it with your initials and a date next to each question. I did it on Adobe, but obviously you would want to do it in pen next to each question before you send out your RFE response. They will tell you the date by which you need to send it out. They will also tell you, for example, where to send it, and you will usually see it towards the bottom of your RFE. Do make a copy of this letter for your own records before you send it out. You can make it a certified delivery if you're sending it out by mail. If you have that opportunity, you can also submit your RFE response online in your USCIS account, and you will see it under your form. You will see a message with the RFE, and you will see a button that will appear that says respond with evidence. So this is where you can include this document if you filled out your questions directly in this form, or a new form and a cover letter explaining the changes that you made. So I hope that you found this video useful. Good luck in your case. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up, and I hope to see you guys in my next videos. Bye.